Good morning, everybody. This is Michelle Rusk. I'm your host with the Holistic Living Interview Series, and this morning we have a very special guest. Her name is Melissa Botalli. Good morning, Melissa.
Hi, good to be here.
Great. So, Melissa, the voice and creator of Renaturing, is a woman with a unique connection to nature and source. Her personal development programs and retreats combine ancient wisdom and natural laws to support women in realizing their unique gifts and developing enlightened leadership. As a result of listening to the wisdom of nature and direction of source, thousands of women internationally are now renaturing, becoming conscious creatures with self-certainty and self-trust, until it becomes second nature to wake up living their true purpose every day. This empowering process can assist you too in getting in sync with nature, source, infinite possibility, and ultimately bless you with a much deeper experience of life. You're invited to start renaturing now at melissabotalli.com. So, all right. So tell us, Melissa, tell us a little bit about yourself and what really brought you into this amazing gift.
Yeah, wow. It's a big loaded question. Let's just dive in right there. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm on a mission. I'm on a really big mission, and my gosh, I think a few years ago, I was still hiding that mission. If you had asked my friends, you would say, yes, she's on a mission. But now it's more than ever. I have kind of come out of my own shell as far as holistic living goes. And what I think of holistic living is really living by all aspects of my being. And what I teach in the Renaturing Journey and all my groups is that we're not a three-part being. Da Vinci really teaches us that we're a five-part being. And so from my body, my heart, my mind, my soul, and my spirit is really how I'm driving my mission and helping others to see that all the answers are within them. And until we can kind of move away what's in front of that inner knowing, then that's really what renaturing is. That's the mission that I'm on right now.
Interesting. So can you tell us a little bit more about how are we? I've never heard of that before. We are five-part beings.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Yeah. So, the modern world right now is especially holistic living, right? And you're doing summits for, oh, cute little doggy.
You're doing it, very bad this morning. Keep talking.
Okay. You're having this summit where there's so many holistic approaches, and the approach typically is mind, body, and spirit. And I see it differently. Studying under my mentor, him and I are both like complete Da Vinci obsessed. And Da Vinci really lays out that it's not just mind, body, spirit, that's actually very masculine. And
really?
Yeah, because we're looking at the masculine aspects of our being. Our mind works in logic, it's very masculine. Spirit is consciousness, which is a masculine energy, because it's just there. There's no flow to it. It's just it's the isness. And the body is a snapshot in time, right? If we could see the hologram and we could see the flow of every single move we've ever made and we could see that, then it would be more feminine. But because we just have this snapshot and you see me as one body, then it's very masculine. So what we've found is that the heart and the soul being different than spirit, really do play a big role in your being.
Right.
And those are the two feminine aspects. And so I combine all five of those aspects of our being and help us relate to all five aspects. So we're relating to our masculine aspects, we're relating to our feminine aspects, and we're really seeing how do we nourish those five aspects of who we are which is really 5 relationships, right? So that's amazing that we're not only working with mind, body, spirit anymore. So that already transforms lives in such a big way. But yeah, 5-part being, it's really a game changer when we start to add that feminine aspect, when we start to see, what is my soul? How does the energy of my spirit refract, or how does the light move through me to make me who I am? And in order to get to our purpose and know who we are, we really need to clear away all of the stories and all of the, belief systems that are holding us back, belief systems that come from society, that come from school, that come from our childhood, that come from our parents, that come from these old paradigms that taught us how not to be ourselves, but how to be somebody else. And so once we remove that, then we can see this beautiful crystal, this beautiful soul that we are, and nourish that and work from that and really live into our soul's purpose. And I really feel like that is holistic living.
Wow. So in order to really get there, going through the renaturing process is really the way to get there.
It's vital. And I mean, renaturing really is looking at your old nature, the nature that's programmed and conditioned and has belief systems of society, like I said, society, your parents, programming from school, and all of these things that took our passion away, that took our true nature away, and removing that old nature, and not in that drastic of a sense, but really identifying our old nature and then working with it to see, is that really true and real for me? Is that authentic? Is that really what I'm here to create, or is there something else? And so renaturing helps us clear away and make peace with our past so that we can create a new nature and stand in our power. Because there's just no way that we can start standing in our power until we make peace with our past.
Wow, interesting. Very, very interesting. So, tell us a little bit about what you do in that process. Like if you were to maybe just walk somebody through a quick renaturing, does it have to do with kind of looking at somebody's energy and seeing where they might be off, or how does that work?
Yeah, in a sense, yes. We're really reconnecting people to their instincts and really reconnecting people to their intuition. The first step really is make peace with your past, to settle your past. That's renaturing itself as a whole. And in order to do that, in order to make peace with our past, we need to trust ourselves, and we need to trust source energy, whether you believe in source, God, goddess, Shiva, Shakti, Buddha, Allah, Krishna, whoever you call upon, the infinite oneness, the field, the whatever you call it, to trust that, and to trust yourself, and to trust where you are right now. So trust is really the first aspect that we arrive at, and it's building that trust that develops that inner certainty, and that certainty that really shows us, wow, if my GPS in my car went out, and I was driving down the road, and I was on vacation, and I didn't know the roads, but my navigator just completely went out, I wouldn't be afraid anymore. I wouldn't be like, I'm totally screwed. Yeah. Because I trust myself. I trust spirit. I trust I'm in the right spot. But until we can get to that place, there's a couple beliefs that we need in order to arrive at trusting ourselves. And one of those beliefs is that we must realize that the universe, again, all the names, whatever you call upon, source energy, I call it source, I call it spirit, I call it whatever comes through me at that moment, God, goddess, whatever it might be. We must believe that source, I'll just call it source right now, is benevolent. The universe is a benevolent place. We must have that belief. And in order to have that belief, we need to move through the beliefs that are making us feel that the universe might be a hostile place, that life is hard, that the world is a bad place. that people are bad, that all of that kind of hostility, we must move through that belief system and get to the place where we believe, not just think, not just positive think our way there, not just meditate and mantra our way there, but actually believe that the universe is benevolent. So that's number one. That's the first belief that needs to happen in order for us to trust ourselves. And the second one is that we must realize that home is within ourselves. All the answers are within ourselves. And that we can question everything to get to that place. So I always tell my clients, questioning everything. The second step in renaturing is evoking eternal curiosity. So if they're not questioning everything, including me, question themselves, question their old beliefs, their parents, their sisters, their brothers, their whoever, their upbringing, whoever taught them, their schools, their whatever, as soon as they're questioning all of those things and really deciphering the answers within themselves, once they get to that place, then they'll start to open up that intuition. They'll start to open back up their instinct, which is already available to them. It simply needed to be cleared out of the cobwebs, if you know what I mean. So it just kind of needs to be cleaned out, and the answers are already there. So I'm really guiding people to find those two beliefs within themselves through renaturing. So when you say, what's a quick renaturing process? I'm like, well, is as deep as you want to go. Renaturing, and developing that new nature and remembering who you are and unlearning all the things that we were taught that really aren't who you are. That's like as simple as I can.
Well, that's a big step. That's a big step, because I can only imagine that for many people, there's a lot of emotions that play into that. A lot of emotion that comes through. Because, if you're talking about old belief systems, or maybe something happened in the past that you need to address, so you can move past that, which I think a lot of people, that really is part of becoming who you are meant to become. Because I think you have to be able to forgive yourself, and you have to be able to see beyond that in order to really, like I said, kind of get to where you're going,
Right. I totally agree. And I think that, in a world of self-development, which we're in,
very much.
Everyone is preaching, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, until you feel it. Now, I don't really feel like I'm a proponent of fake it till you make it. I really feel like, you can get high for 15 minutes doing that, and then it's very temporary.
Right.
I don't believe self-love is the first step. I do believe it's the second step. I do believe that once we have self-trust, then we can have self-love. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe that we should be teaching self-love if we don't have self-trust. Mm-hmm. I feel like that often has led clients of mine to be in a downward spiral, back in those old patterns of, well, I loved myself through it. Why am I back in this old pattern? Because you loved yourself through it. You didn't actually go back and make peace with those moments. Like you said, forgiveness is a big step.
Yeah.
But we can't just go back and look at love or forgiveness immediately, because we don't know why we're forgiving anything. So then there's a disconnect, and then there's a little bit of your body responding with almost like that trauma response of like, bullshit, no, I don't want to forgive yet. I don't feel that forgiveness yet. And we don't want that response. We want the response of natural forgiveness. Forgiveness is very natural when we find the energetic root cause. I find that we don't apply forgiveness right away in renaturing, simply because it becomes the natural next step once we make peace with those stories. Like you said, it's an emotional ride. Yeah. We're looking and investigating all these emotions. And I find that emotional health is, a lifelong game. Hi, I'm still working on my emotional health. Yeah. I love it every day. And and being able to work with yourself with these techniques and have the skills, have the tool belt, if you will, and be like, okay, like this is what's coming through me and why. Not resisting fear anymore, not resisting doubt anymore, but going, thank you. Thank you for showing me that my inner intuition, my inner education is saying, hold on, there's something here. If it was an easy flow, then there wouldn't be doubt. If there was an easy flow, it wouldn't be fear. So something's coming up for me. And if we can get so invested and build a relationship with those emotions and work with them, that emotional health will lead us to standing deeper into our power and really realizing our uniqueness. Because oftentimes, and I'll go here, is that love is misconstrued as happiness. Love is misconstrued as only happy and joy feelings. And I highly disagree. I think love is, for me, and anyone can disagree on again, question me, but for me, love is an accumulation of all things, accumulation of all emotions and all experiences. So if that's true, then fear is love, then doubt is love, then guilt is love, then all of these energies are love. And if we learn to move through them and discover why they're there, that's real health.
I want to go back a moment to that resistance that you were talking about, because I know that I think nobody, especially in this country, like right now, everybody's talking about emotional health.
Yeah.
And mental health.
Yeah.
I don't think people are seeing the connection, though, in that resistance of themselves. Talk a little bit about how does that actually manifest itself physically on our bodies? Because I really believe that that kind of negativity, or if you're in a very negative situation, that it really does manifest itself negatively physically. And people can become literally physically ill from those things. Have you seen that?
Oh my gosh, I've experienced that.
Yeah.
There's been so many times in my past where I've had experiences that have brought up so much emotion, whether it be being scared, traumatized, anything like that, where it's almost as if my spirit pulls out of my body and looks down at the situation that I'm in. And there's been so many times actually in my path that's happened. And that's brought me to the place that I'm at today. And your question really is does that affect us in a physical way? Of course.
Right.
Because as we hold emotions in, emotions are meant to flow through us. Emotions are energy. And as that energy moves through our body, we feel the emotion. Now, I would say we're the only species that has an extra mechanism. There's fight or flight. Fight, you can get the emotion out, right? You can punch it out. You can run it out. You can scream it out. You can get it out. Flight, you can run, right? Fight or flight. But we're more complex than that. We actually have a mechanism inside us that says freeze. So there's been times in my life, in my own experience, where the energy comes in as scared or wariness or fright, and I have frozen that energy inside me. And instead of having conversations about it, instead of releasing it into my journal, a friend, a family member, anything, a coach, a mentor, anything, or anyone, a person, or the trees, anything, instead of doing that, I held it in the past. And what manifests is physical ailments, right? And so with renaturing, I call it a self-development process, but it's also a self-healing process. Why? Because once we unearth those frozen emotions, we tend to see where the energetic root cause was, what happened, how did it arrive there. And things like chronic migraines to cancer somehow aren't there anymore. Now, I'm not going to say heal or cure or any of that liability reasons, but what I'm saying is, and if you can read between the lines, is when we get to these root energetic causes, these ailments that were caused by the energy, right? Because everything is energy. Mm-hmm. So if we get to the real energy, the cause, the root, and unwind that spiral, that old nature, and then make a new nature, it doesn't have an environment to live there anymore. Whether it be the migraines or the cancers or the intestinal issues. I healed myself from celiac. I was celiac for so long. Gluten allergies and all of the things that show up in people's tests, yes, that starts from energy. That starts from an energetic root cause. And it's so available to all of us to heal that. It's so available to all of us to do this level of deep personal growth, personal development, I would say personal spiritual development, and really connecting into that energy. And by doing that, we have a new nature available to us, a nature that's not a victim of those ailments or those traumas anymore, but that is a creator. And of that creator that trusts themselves and trusts source and knows that they're there for a reason, not just thinks it, not just power of now it, like, let me just be here now, and not that, but believes it. Mm-hmm. And gets to that place. That is where the magic starts happening. That's where your personal influence starts exploding. And whatever your personal influence is, right? You don't need to be a coach or a mentor, but if you are, wonderful. And you could be a better mother. You could be a better relationship. Any of that, because we're expanding our energy, our true energy, our true nature, versus giving from that old nature, giving from that place that was tangled up and causing trauma over and over and over again on repeat, right? It's like listening to a song on repeat. We stop that song completely. We figure out what that song was, why it came there, and all of that. It's really fascinating work. And, you know, some of my clients remark at how once they do it, it's almost like, how was this that? It was just there for them. It's just as obvious for them once we get to that place. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. And I'm glad that you asked that, because for myself, healing celiacs and healing autoimmune diseases, energetically, not because I changed my diet, because I did try that. And I know there's going to be a lot of ruffling of feathers here on this summit that I'm saying that, because I tried that. I tried it in different ways. I hired different people. I even became a nutrition coach myself because I was so determined to figure out the right way, until I realized that real root energetic cause and unwound that story. And then I no longer had, and I tested it. And not that I believe that we should all be eating gluten in America, because I think that the way that, you know, they work with all of our crops here is a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
However, energetically, we can move beyond that, and really work with the energy and move past that level of food being the real issue, and move into the energy being where we discover ourselves, where we discover the root cause of why things are happening and how bigger things could happen, how you could manifest really, really powerful and amazing things that have everything to do with you and have everything to do with me and have everything to do with anyone watching. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
It did.
I know there's chaos going on at the house right now for you.
No, it's life. It's like I've got my 10-month-old here, and then my puppies were not behaving before, but now they're being good. They're actually laying down.
Good.
I just have to keep my eye on her. So it's so interesting to me because I do believe in the whole energy aspect of just of life. I mean, you can feel it when you're angry. You can feel the energy move through you. When you're scared, you can feel that surge of energy in your gut. You know, all those kinds of things. I guess in my mind, though, I'm kind of like, so then where does medical science come in? You know, because we have.
It helps us find what's there. It helps us see what we can't maybe see with our eyes. And it's so valuable. Oh my God. Medical is totally valuable.
Yes.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, some of us are able to see energies, right? But we're not necessarily, some of us are not necessarily only able to see deep into the cells and deep into the things that these medical doctors are, the technologies now that they're using, it's so valuable. Oh yeah. And food. Food is so valuable, nourishing ourselves at the level of eating higher vibrational foods and really looking at the spectrum of, are we nourishing ourselves on all levels?
Yes.
Same thing with the 5-part being. There's probably, however many parts our bodies have, there's so many levels that we can nourish ourselves. And I'm an avid, holistic eater and conscious person that takes supplements and awesome things that I get to support my body with, for sure. And the energy of all of those things gets unlocked and kind of can be used at their highest degree when we move away all of that stuff. It's the same thing. It's like broccoli becomes like, whoa, like this really heals me now because I don't have any of that stuff in the way. Or spirulina, or like whatever, I was reading an article about broccoli sprouts the other day, and I'm like, I love that. And it's, and all those things. And if we have something inside of us that's blocking that, does it really work as effectively? Up to you to decide.
Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying, let me just see if I'm getting this right. Do you think every condition then that maybe we're going through, like take me for example, because I'm here. Mm-hmm. So I've not been officially diagnosed with celiac, but I cannot eat wheat or gluten. It makes me crazy, literally. Mm-hmm. I break out in hives. It affects my joints. I get a lot of like almost autoimmune responses to it throughout my body. But when I don't eat it, I do focus on whole foods and, I guess like you're saying, the higher vibrational foods. And I mm-hmm. feel wonderful mm-hmm. When I do that. Mm-hmm. But I will always have that part of me that I can't eat wheat, because when I do, I get sick. So are you saying that part of me is there because of something else? Or, that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's kind of where I'm going with this.
I won't say that my approach is the end all be all. In my experience, yes, everything comes from energy. And think of the energy of when you eat gluten and when the energy of when you eat these other foods,
Right.
and where your mind goes and how you're nourishing yourself and how you're beating yourself up, or how you're, I mean, autoimmune is attacking something in the body, is attacking itself.
Right.
Right. And so think of the energy of that attacking itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then think of the opposite of when you're eating, what did you say? Eating whole foods and different things like that.
Yes.
Think of the energy when you're calm and collected and focused on nourishing all aspects of yourself. Now that's just layman's energy, looking at the energy right now. In renaturing, obviously we go way deeper and look at the stories and the belief systems and the patterns and the identities and all the things that came from it. But for now, just as something that you could digest right now and the audience can digest right now, just the energy. Attacking myself versus nourishing myself. What's the switch? Like, how do I get that switch to stay on nourishing and not attacking? Like, I wonder, right? Because oftentimes, and I was this way. I had an autoimmune disease, right? That celiacs that doctors told me I would have forever. Forever is ever. I mean, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I developed it. So I'm like, hey, but if I developed it and I wasn't born with it, wouldn't that mean I could heal it? And so I questioned doctors. I questioned nutritionists. I questioned everyone. I questioned myself. And I got to that energetic root cause. But what I'm talking about is attacking itself, right? When you have an autoimmune, typically when someone has an autoimmune, what happens is they start to get like lots of food allergies. So I had that. I couldn't eat sesame seeds. I couldn't eat this. I couldn't eat that. And I was like, what? Like, how all of a sudden do I have all of these allergies?
Mm-hmm.
What is really going on? How did I develop all of these allergies where I can't eat nightshades and sesame seeds and blah, blah, blahs? And I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What? So that eternal curiosity of questioning everything and asking myself, not only questioning everything, but asking myself, why did I create this? If I'm a creator of my life, if I'm in the image and likeness of God, Goddess, Spirit, Buddha, Allah, all those names that you might call upon, if I'm the image and likeness of that, and then I'm that level of a creator, how did I create this? Why? And going there. And that's where we discover really, really deep information that is locked up in our cells. And until we look at it, until we shine the light on it, it's basically like something in a box locked up in the corner of your closet. Until you open the closet and open the boxes and unwrap the thing, till you open the closet doors and shine the light on it, we don't know it's there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't remember it's there, but your cells do. Your cells do. Your cellular energy, your cellular memory, is probably like 300,000 times greater than your mental memory. We can black things out. I mean, especially with trauma, we can black things out, like that freezing thing, that fight, flight, or freeze, please, freeze. If we freeze that energy inside of us, we literally have mechanisms that keep us safe in our minds that black out memories. Like, I don't remember that, but your cells do. So how can we tap into that intercellular memory and awaken those things that have been dormant and really shine the light on them so that we can heal from a totally different place?
So, that's a very interesting point. I never even thought about, cellular memory. And I can see, I can see how that would have a great impact on healing, because we are literally made up of billions of cells. I mean, that's how we start.
37.2 trillion unique cells in your body.
Yeah. Wow. So that, I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. There's some information in those cells.
Huh. So for how do how do we as everyday people, we're bombarded with so much these days. um,
Hmm. You mean nutritionally or like in what respect?
yeah, nutritionally, what is a really good way to kind of, or what are some good ways that we can tell our audience how to really kind of tap into feeding our bodies and feeding ourselves healthier, healthier foods.
Yeah, every word has belief systems around it, even the word healthy, right? So you go to certain parts of America and they think that certain foods
Mhm.
are healthy, and you would go, that's not healthy, right? Or someone else on this summit would go, yeah, that's not healthy, right? Because so we carry these belief systems around every word, every word. Isn't that amazing? We have a belief around every word that we know, every word that we know. Woo! So already, it's like, how do we nourish, how do we get healthy? Well, we determine what healthy is. We determine what that looks like in every aspect of ourselves. And if you're like me and you believe in a 5-part being and not a 3-part mind, body, spirit, but a 5-part body, heart, mind, soul, and spirit, how do we nourish all of that? And we develop new belief systems by looking at our current ones. And I think your question was about food, but what really is food but nourishment, right?
Right.
Nourishment in some way. So how can we look at nourishment in, and this is why there's hundreds, if not thousands upon thousands of dietary theories. And for some people this one works, and for some people this one works, and for
Yeah.
some people that one works. It's like,
Yeah.
well, how does that work? How come? Why? Because of these beliefs that we're carrying. If you believe that this one over here will work for you, and you deeply believe it, and something is working within you to believe that energetically, it'll work, right? But we can't just go, well, I believe that then, and I'm going to do that, right? Because if it's not a true belief, our body's going to respond like, bullshit.
Mhm.
I don't think so. That kind of response. And we want our cells to respond as yes, 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 yes to everything we do, eat, drink, wear, express, think about, and create. Think about that. Everything you do, everything you eat, everything you drink, everything you think about, and everything you create. What if your body, heart, mind, soul, and spirit were all going yes, yes, yes?
Hmm.
So what if we measured what to eat based on that internal yes? Based on what our body, heart, mind, soul, and spirit are all collaborating together and saying yes to.
Yeah.
What if that was how we chose to nourish ourselves? How we chose to nourish ourselves in relationships, food, again, all that whole list, everything we do, eat, drink, wear, express, everything we put on our bodies, all of that.
Mhm.
What if we got that tapped into our intuition, in our instinct? Because think of the days where there wasn't the internet. And if you didn't read the right book, you didn't have the right information, and you wouldn't have the answers. Well, now it's like you have the answers to whatever you want. You have the answers to this diet is right or the same diet is wrong. You have every answer you want.
Mhm.
Which means, isn't that mean that everything could be true? Doesn't that mean that infinite possibility is real?
Yeah. And I think that's a great point too, because it just goes to show, one, how we each are such a unique being. What
Yeah,
I need is not what somebody else needs.
hugely. Yeah.
What one child needs is, and this goes for my own children, What one
Yeah.
of my kids needs is not what my other child needs. They're two completely different. I mean, one, and it even goes for parenting. I have
Mm.
discovered with one of my kids what I used to do for my other ones. It just does not work.
Yeah.
So, it's a very, I think that's a good point, that everything could potentially work, but if not for you, for somebody else.
Right.
And we have to be respectful of that and just work with it. And I think as well, that's part of the reason why I'm doing this series as well, because one starting point for one person might not be the same for somebody else.
Right.
I have 21 or so different interviews that I'm doing on this, and I'm getting lots of different opinions on things, lots of different ways of doing things, lots of different places to begin. So, it's nice to hear. I'm sure it'll be reassuring for the viewers too, that one person's right spot might not be the next one, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way I see it energetically is pretty interesting. I'm blessed with the gift to see energy now. In my past, I don't know that I felt very blessed about that, but now I feel very blessed to be able to see that. And if you think of infinite possibilities, it's kind of like a wide open field. All of these fingers are possibility. When someone has distinct beliefs, like I can't eat gluten ever, I can never do this again, I have this disease, I am this way, I have this, these beliefs collapse the field of infinite possibility. So then all of a sudden it looks like, different things, different directions of energy, but it's not infinite anymore. So then what I can do with private clients, and this is what I do more than group clients because they have that extra time with me, is that we look at where's the energy actually going and why is it going that way and not that way? Why are you only seeing that as the only possibility and not that? So that questioning, that power of questioning ourselves really is a huge proponent of discovering what our old nature is, why we are feeling and believing the things that we're feeling and believing, and the patterns that we're creating and the identities that we're assuming upon ourselves. And then once we see that, then there's this, especially when you're working with someone else who may not have the same collapsed field as you, then you're like, oh, I then see it a little bit differently. And you open up and expand the field for them to have maybe a totally new set of possibility.
Very, very interesting.
Very interesting.
I mean, it really is. And like I said, I believe in energy. I mean, there's a lot of different massages out there that also use energy work. And my particular masseuse, she uses something called orthobionomy, and it's fantastic. And it uses energy. And it's the lightest touch, but you can literally feel the energy, off of her coming into me, and she knows exactly where to go, what my pain is. It's just, I agree. I think it's real. And, I think it's just a very, we are energetic. I do think that. I do.
Yeah. And I want to touch on a point that, is kind of in between the lines of what you're saying right now. And that is that there are these ways of energy work, let's call it energy work. How do we get it so that we're all able to work with that though? And that's really where the renaturing of what I use helps people get back to that within themselves. Because we're all the only way we make matter is by energy, and any scientist will say the same, is that energy creates matter. And there's tons of energy between ourselves. What's connecting them but more energy, right? And all of that. So how do we all connect to that? Not just ones who can magically see energy, not just ones who can penetrate energy into bodies, not just those people, but not just specifically, only these special people. It's not even like that. It's how can we all step into our uniqueness and power? How can we all discover that energy within us that determines the answers within us? Mm-hmm. And that's where renaturing really brings people, is giving them the tools for life, not saying, oh, here's the tool and it's me. No, here's the tool that you get to discover the answers within yourself. That's the power. That's where we want people to be. That's where we want to have people, make peace with their past, do all the things with the belief systems, the patterns, the identities, the old nature, move into their new nature, and then realize, once I settle and make peace with my past, I can stand into my power. And once I stand into my power, then I really have some new energy to work with. Mm-hmm. And then they have the tools to do that on their own. That's where instinct, and you have, I'm sure, a lot of that kind of instinctual feeling coming up. You have a new baby, you have puppies, you have all the things happening around you. Like, your instincts are coming up and out, especially at those times. Yeah. And what if they were up and out, instincts were up and out all the time? What if it wasn't deep down that you feel a certain thing, but it's out everywhere? You always feel a deep sense or a deep intuition about things. So that's my mission. That's where really I want, especially women, but really the world, to arrive at, is that place where they know the answers are in them.
Yeah. Very powerful. All right. So we are running short on time. We could probably keep on talking about this, but what last few words would you like to leave our viewers with today?
I mean, to reiterate what we've been talking about, that the answers really are within you. Mm-hmm. They're not within me or any of the speakers on this summit. They may guide you. Right. The things that I say or the people on this summit say may guide you to the answers within you, but they're in you. And you have the unique, true power and purpose already set up and available.
Awesome. And where can they find you, Melissa, if they're just like, I gotta reach out to her?
Yeah, you can, a lot of places: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Melissa Botalli or Melissa Infinity. Some people call me Infinity. And you can also find me at melissabotalli.com. And I can give you any links. So if people somehow can't find me at Melissa Botalli, anything, then you can, I'm sure, reply to one of Michelle's emails and get in touch with me that way.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, again, thank you so much for coming on today. I know, I'm sure our viewers have learned a lot, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Yes, it's my pleasure.
Everyone have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you the next time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.